Hi everyone! Today we will cover all the history of Native Americans that you don't know. Before the arrival of Europeans, the land we now call America was already home to hundreds of distinct Native American tribes. Some tribes were nomadic, moving with the seasons to hunt buffalo or gather wild plants, following the rhythms of nature. Others established permanent villages and cultivated crops like corn, beans, and squash, developing sophisticated agricultural techniques. Homes built for the land. Native American homes were as diverse as the environments they inhabited, each uniquely adapted to the specific needs and resources of their surroundings. On the vast Great Plains where buffalo roamed freely, the nomadic Lakota, Dakota, and Cheyenne tribes lived in typus. These tribes followed the buffalo herds, which were essential to their way of life. These cone-shaped dwellings were ingeniously made of buffalo hides, stretched over wooden poles. The materials were readily available and perfectly suited for the plains environment. Tipis were easy to assemble and dismantle, making them ideal for a life on the move. This portability allowed the tribes to quickly relocate in pursuit of game and to avoid harsh weather conditions. In the lush, forested Pacific Northwest, tribes like the Haida and Tlingit built sturdy longhouses from cedar planks. These longhouses were well suited to the wet coastal climate. These impressive structures could house multiple families and were often adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of their ancestors and beliefs. The carvings were not just decorative but also served as a means of preserving history and culture. In the arid Southwest, the Pueblo people constructed adobe dwellings from sun-baked clay bricks. These bricks were made from a mixture of clay, water, and straw, which were then left to dry in the sun. These multi-story homes offered protection from the desert heat and were often built into cliff sides for added security. The thick adobe walls provided insulation, keeping the interiors cool during the scorching days and warm during the chilly nights. Clothing as art and necessity. Native American clothing was both beautiful and practical. It reflected the resources available in their environment and often served symbolic purposes. In colder climates, animal hides and furs provided warmth. Intricate beadwork, quillwork, and featherwork adorned clothing and accessories, showcasing the artistic skills of native artisans. Clothing often signified status within a tribe. A warrior's regalia, for example, might include eagle feathers earned through acts of bravery. Jewelry made from shells, turquoise, and silver held cultural and spiritual significance. These items were not merely decorative but served as powerful expressions of identity and heritage. Dancing with spirits and community. Ceremonies and dances played a central role in Native American life. They were a way to honor the spirits, celebrate the changing seasons, and pass down traditions from one generation to the next. Many dances involved elaborate costumes, masks, and music. The rhythms and movements often told stories or conveyed important cultural values. The powwow, a tradition that continues today, is a gathering of different tribes to celebrate their shared heritage. It's a time for singing, dancing, socializing, and honoring their ancestors. These gatherings are a testament to the resilience of Native American cultures and their enduring connection to their traditions. Strangers from across the sea. The arrival of European explorers in the late 15th century marked a turning point in Native American history. At first, there was curiosity and exchange. Native Americans traded with the newcomers, sharing their knowledge of the land and its resources. However, this initial period of relative peace did not last. Europeans brought with them diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza to which Native Americans had no immunity. These diseases spread rapidly, devastating entire communities. The introduction of firearms also upset the balance of power. What began as exploration and trade gradually transformed into a struggle for control of land and resources. Broken promises and stolen lands. As more Europeans arrived, they began to encroach on Native American lands. The arrival of settlers marked the beginning of a long and painful history of displacement and broken promises. Treaties were made and broken. These agreements, often signed under duress or through deceit, promised to protect native lands but were frequently violated as settlers' hunger for land grew. Native Americans were forcibly removed from their ancestral homelands and relocated to reservations, often on land that was less fertile and desirable. This forced relocation disrupted their way of life, leading to immense suffering and loss of cultural heritage. The Trail of Tears, The forced removal of the Cherokee Nation from their lands in the southeast to Oklahoma in the 1830s stands as a stark reminder of the injustices inflicted upon Native Americans. Thousands perished during the grueling journey, facing harsh conditions and inadequate supplies. The expansion of the United States westward was often accompanied by violence and displacement of Native American tribes. As settlers moved westward, Native Americans were pushed further from their homes, leading to numerous conflicts and further loss of land. The Indian Wars, a series of conflicts throughout the 19th century, resulted in the loss of countless lives and the further erosion of Native American land and sovereignty. These wars were marked by fierce resistance from Native tribes who fought valiantly to protect their lands and way of life, but ultimately faced overwhelming odds. The long shadow of the past. The impact of European colonization on Native American communities has been profound and lasting. Forced assimilation policies, including the establishment of boarding schools that sought to strip Native American children of their language and culture, caused immense suffering. The loss of land, language, and traditional ways of life led to social and economic hardship that continues to this day. Despite the many challenges they have faced, Native American cultures have demonstrated remarkable resilience. They have fought tirelessly to preserve their languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs. The struggle for recognition of their treaty rights and sovereignty continues to be a central focus of modern Native American activism. Keeping traditions alive. In recent decades, there has been a growing movement among Native Americans to revitalize their languages and cultural practices. Tribal elders are sharing their knowledge with younger generations. Language immersion programs are helping to revive languages that were once on the verge of extinction. Traditional arts and crafts are experiencing a resurgence. Powwows and other cultural gatherings provide a space for Native Americans to connect with their heritage and celebrate their identity. These events are not just about preserving the past, but about ensuring that Native American cultures continue to thrive in the present and future. Native voices, modern struggles. Today, Native Americans are reclaiming their narratives and sharing their stories with the world. Native American authors, artists, musicians, and activists are bringing greater visibility to the contemporary issues facing their communities. From protecting sacred sites to advocating for environmental justice, Native Americans are at the forefront of many social movements. Despite significant progress, Native American communities still face disproportionate rates of poverty, health disparities, and discrimination. The legacy of historical trauma continues to have a lasting impact. However, Native Americans are resilient. They are drawing strength from their traditions and working to create a brighter future for their people. A shared future built on respect. Understanding and appreciating Native American history is essential for all Americans. Recognizing the injustices of the past is crucial for building a more just and equitable future. By learning about the diverse cultures, languages, and histories of Native American tribes, we can challenge stereotypes and foster greater respect and understanding. Supporting Native American-owned businesses, attending cultural events, and learning about the history of the land we live on are just a few ways to show respect and solidarity. By embracing the richness and diversity of Native American cultures, we enrich our own lives and contribute to a more inclusive society.